I'm Charako, 23. I work in the fashion industry, producing outfits for models and musicians. I'm super happy with my job, but I actually had a really complicated childhood. Let me tell you a little bit about my story growing up with an abusive mother. The story is when I was still a little girl. One evening, I couldn't fall asleep. So I went to the living room as I heard my mother on the phone talking to someone.
You've seen my daughter. She is one ugly child.
What?
So I want to avoid taking her outside as much as I can. I'm just so embarrassed to be seen with her. Whose genes did she pick up? She would have been better looking if she looked more like me, you know?
I had no idea that Mom thought of me like that.
I better try for a second child soon.
That's so hurtful.
I'll just keep trying until I have a good-looking child. If it's because of the bad gene, then I'm happy to break up with my husband.
How could she be so mean?
Oops, that became a long phone call. Talk soon. Bye.
It was such a shocking conversation I had heard in my early childhood. I get flashbacks of that hurtful moment till this day. Not too long after that incident, my sister Maki was born. She was a beautiful child, just as my mother wanted.
You are the daughter that I wanted. Maki, I will love you with everything I have.
Hey, you can't just love one child. Charako's our daughter too.
That child? I don't care about her much. I want to give my 100% for Maki to have the perfect life.
It was almost a routine for my mother to say things like this, so that I hear her from the room next door. I started to get used to it. But one day, my parents got a divorce since my mother was having several affairs. My mother's abuse towards me escalated after my father left.
Maki, Charako, dinner is ready!
Yay!
Here is the finest sushi for you, Maki. Eat all you want.
Whoa! Thanks, Mom!
Oh, my bad, Charako. Thought I'd get sushi for you too, but I ran out of money after getting Maki's.
What do you mean?
I got you your favorite instant ramen instead. Here you go.
What? Why do I only get ramen? That's not fair!
I said my bad. If you don't like it, you can get out anytime.
You are the worst!
You should thank me that I feed a child like you. God, you're such an ungrateful child. I wish I never had you. Sorry you had to see that, Maki, my dear. Come now, eat plenty.
Yay! I will! Maki was spoiled all her life like this, and she grew up thinking this is normal. How annoying. Time passed, and I had to think of my career plan in my senior year in high school. Mom, I want to study fashion in a vocational school.
Fashion?
Yeah, I know I'm not pretty. So I want to design clothes that can empower people feeling similar about their appearances.
Oh.
So, I need to ask for a favor. Can you advance me some money for my tuition? I will pay all of it back with my part-time job. Please?
Advance some money? You think I will do that for you?
What?
Besides, I haven't told you, but I want Maki to study in the US for middle school.
The US?
I want Maki to learn English and have a successful life, so we have no money to spend on you.
You were telling me to give up on my dream?
Not my problem. Why don't you talk to a loan company?
What do you mean it's not your problem? You are my parent.
Look, I put you through high school. Be thankful. I'm happy with only Maki in my life.
You bitch!
Oh, one more thing.
There's more?
I'm selling this house.
Huh? What for?
Maki and I will be going to the US, so we won't need it.
What about me? Where will I live when you two move abroad?
Like I said, not my problem. You are an adult after high school. Find a job and rent an apartment yourself.
You are the worst. Fine, I'm leaving this horrible house. I jumped out of the house as I said so. I can't express how shocked I was that my own mother abandoned me like that. But I felt a sense of liberation getting out of that toxic place. I kinda ran off without thinking much. What do I do now? I guess there's only one place to go in this situation. Despite the horrible life, I had one person who comforted me. It was my uncle, my mother's brother. He was the only one who cared about me, knowing my mother's abusive behavior. Uncle might be able to help me. I hurried to his home.
Hey, Charako. What brings you here? It's pretty late.
Uncle, sorry I came unannounced. I have a bit of a situation.
What happened? Did my sister say something mean again?
Yeah, she wants to move with Maki to put her in school in the US, so she's going to sell the house. She basically threw me out.
What? Is that so? She's the worst mother.
She is.
I'm embarrassed. I'm so sorry for my sister's behavior. Well, come on in.
Thanks, Uncle.
Here's your coffee.
Thanks.
Are you feeling any better?
I do. After talking to you, I feel much calmer.
I'm glad. So tell me, what's the plan after high school for you?
I wanted to study fashion in a vocational school after I graduate. I asked my mother for support today, but she rejected.
Fashion? That's a wonderful dream you have for your future.
But I think I need to give it up and find a job.
No, Charako. You don't have to give up your dream. Let me help you with the tuition.
Wow! Really? But I can't. I feel bad.
Why? I should be the one feeling bad. My little sister has been treating you so badly, and I couldn't do much to help you. Please, let me at least do this for you.
Uncle.
Charako, you've been through a tough life until now, don't you think? You deserve to make your dream come true.
That's so kind. Thanks, Uncle. I will never forget this. So I started going to fashion school with his support. He even let me live with him in his house.
Charako, just treat this house like your own home, okay?
Thank you.
Just know that you can have anything you need here, alright?
My uncle and his wife accepted me and showered me with love like their own daughter, something I have never received before. Few years later, Uncle, Auntie, I got a job at a fashion design company.
Oh, wow! That's great news! Well done!
You made your dream come true. I'm so happy for you.
I wouldn't be here without your help in taking me in. I cannot thank you enough.
It was our pleasure. You make us proud, Charako.
Well, well, this calls for a celebration.
All of a sudden, the door rang loudly, breaking the happy mood.
I wonder who it is at this late hour.
I'll get the door.
Hi, Charako. It's been a while. I knew you'd be here.
Mom? What do you want?
Oh, don't be a stranger. You should be happy to reunite with your mother after years.
Weren't you in the US? Why are you back?
Well, Maki is getting married.
Are you kidding? Isn't she still in high school?
Yes, but hear this. Her fiancé is a Japanese businessman in his 30s, working in the top US firm. I am so happy for her.
Did you come here just to tell me this?
No, I have something else. We are planning her wedding in Japan next month, and I came to tell you that we don't want you there.
Huh?
Her fiancé is an elite businessman, you know. I don't want him to find out we have a failure like you in the family.
Fine by me. I have no interest going to the wedding anyway.
His family thinks you died when you were young, just so you know.
What the?
Just think that you'll be doing a favor for your precious little sister being fake dead.
You really are the worst mother.
Well, that's all I needed to say. Bye-bye now.
That bitch. I'll get my revenge one day.
Charako, I heard all that. What a terrible human being. I recorded it all for evidence when you need it.
Really? Can I get the recording?
Of course. Do you want to take it to the police?
No, that won't be enough to do justice. I have a plan. Can you help me?
Wow. That's one hell of a plan. But maybe it's what they need. Okay, let me help you.
On the day of Maki's wedding, my uncle, of course, was invited to attend as a family member.
Are you all enjoying the wedding party? We have a few video messages from those who couldn't make it today.
Huh? I didn't see this in the program. Could it be a surprise from her friends?
Hi, everyone. I'm Maki's older sister, Charako. Nice to see you. Sister?
What is this?
I think the groom and his family heard that I was dead. But as you can see, I am well and alive.
Maki? What's going on?
The reason why I'm sending this message is to share what my mother had said to me a month ago. She said that I am an embarrassment to the family with my ugly looks, and she wants me to pretend I'm dead.
Unbelievable!
From her own mother?
Horrible.
True.
It can't be!
Stop the video now. She is lying.
I think my mother will say I'm lying, so I have a recording of the conversation to prove that I am telling the truth. Here it is. I'm sure you recognize her voice. I grew up with abusive comments like this from her all my life. I hope the groom and the family reconsider before you tie the knot.
What a
Unreal.
terrible story!
I knew something
wrong
was
with the
wrong
mother?
with this match.
What a
I
terrible
knew something
story.
was wrong with this
What
match
is
thing.
wrong with the mother?
Unreal!
That's all from me. Best wishes to you, Maki.
What was that all about? Did you really lie to us that your daughter was dead?
How could you do such a thing? Are you really a mother? Well,
According to my uncle, my video caused quite a scene at the party. Maki's fiancé called off the wedding, and my mother and her were left speechless. A few days later, I got a call from my mother.
Hey, Chariko.
Oh, hi, Mother. What is it?
I am so sorry. I have been a terrible mother to you. Your video made me reflect my actions.
Oh?
I have a favor to ask. The wedding was cancelled, and we are asked to pay the cost for causing the drama. I know you make money with your designs. Can you lend us some money?
She came begging for money to me after all that she has done to me. How could she? That did it. I just couldn't hold it in anymore. I've had enough of your crap. You have no shame. Do you understand the degree of your abuse against me all these years? I will never lend you money, you bitch. It's called karma. Pay the venue yourself, and don't ever call me again. If you call, I will report all of your doings to the police. My last words to her seemed to have worked, and she never called me again. My mother ended up working double shifts to pay off the debt to the wedding venue. As for Maki, she had dropped out of high school, and since her wedding was called off, she was left doing nothing at home. Maki became an additional burden for Mom to take care of. Ha! Losers! And for me, I finally started my job as a fashion designer. I will work hard and earn a lot of money so that I can give back to my uncle and auntie for taking such good care of me. I feel so good with my life finally.
My name is Ren. I'm a boring office worker. I'm married with my wife Riko, and I live with her. However, I was growing tired of going to and from work because it took almost an hour to commute. About a year ago, we were having a fun life, but because I was coming home late, things started growing stale. I was trying my best to fix things. 1 year earlier.
Ren, are you okay? You look sick.
I'm okay.
You should rest. We were supposed to go out, but I'm gonna give you a nice massage.
But you said you wanted to go shopping. Don't you want to go?
We can go whenever. Anyway, it's more important that you're relaxed.
Riko, I was just tired because I had to take care of my co-worker's mistake.
Whatever the reason may be, it's important that you're happy and healthy. I can cook some food that'll give you energy.
What are you gonna cook?
Is there something you want to eat?
I want cream stew or carbonara. Maybe stir-fried veggies and gyoza.
You can't eat all of that, silly.
I mean, it's the weekend. Do you want to go grab sushi?
Really?
It's been a hot minute.
Why don't we go grab MoniRobo's sushi then?
Yeah. Riko cancelled her shopping to give me a massage, and I passed out because I was tired. Riko, sorry. I fell asleep.
It's okay, you're tired. You need to relax and refresh your mind and body.
Oh, thank you. I feel so much better.
I'm hungry.
Sorry. It's a little early, but do you want to go grab sushi?
Yeah, let's grab cake on the way home.
You're gonna get fat doing that.
Don't say that. It's a special day.
I'm just teasing. I want cheesecake.
You're not even gonna look at the cakes first?
I don't need to. Cheesecake is the best cake.
No. If you want good cake, you get Napoleon cake. Oh, a fruit tart cake is good too. I want Mont Blanc cake. Oh, eclairs too. Oh man, I can't decide.
Oh man, you're definitely gonna get fatter. I've always been a fan of cheesecake.
Hey, let's go. I'm gonna lose my mind.
Don't worry, all the fat is in the way.
Whatever. Sushi, cake.
We headed to the sushi store while teasing Riko. It was the weekend and the restaurant was crowded. We sat at the counter and ordered a beer. We had a great time. Then we went to a large department store.
The store is so big.
Oh, this store has everything! And there's so much that I want.
True, let's take our time.
Yeah.
Wow, this bed is so fancy. And the sofa is so cute.
Oh, this sofa is perfect for our house. It feels amazing too. Let's look at the dining tables too.
Yeah, it's over there.
Hey, Riko. Do you want to buy a house? You know, gather all the furniture and stuff?
Yeah, we totally could because we don't have kids yet.
Right. When we were coming here, I saw the model house that was nearby.
I didn't see it.
Why don't we just go? It might be fun.
I'm so excited.
Riko was shocked at the family that was coming in our direction. What's wrong, Riko?
I just saw someone from one of our clients. Crap, he noticed. Hello. This is my husband, Ren.
Thank you for doing business with my wife. The pleasure is all mine. Enjoy your time. The boss was kinda quiet and the daughter was very bright, but I didn't understand why Riko was so surprised. I guess because it had to do with work? After we enjoyed our time at the department store, we went to the model house. We went to a bar and started discussing our future. But this happy time was about to end. I'm home, Riko! Dang, she fell asleep. Oh well. Wait, what is this? There was a single instant noodle on the dining table. I've been cooking food on my own recently. Before, she used to cook for me, but now it's just a single instant noodle. I couldn't even bring myself to eat it. I could sense the distance between us. We stopped talking to each other. The next morning. Good morning, Riko.
Morning.
How's work?
It's okay.
Do you want to go grab food?
You're busy, right? Just work.
You're leaving?
Work.
Riko headed to work quietly. What happened to us? I just wanted to work hard for our new home. Riko was working hard, but now she just goes out and plays. She doesn't even come home some nights. Time passed quietly without us talking. I liked Riko, so I wanted to fix our relationship. We decided to go eat lunch together. I picked an expensive restaurant at the top of a hotel. We climbed to the 48th floor.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Go sit down first.
Okay. I headed to the restaurant. Oh man, it's so busy. It's gonna take over an hour to get in. Oh, maybe we should just give up. I went back to the bathroom to talk to Riko. She was on the phone. I could hear what she was saying, so I just ran to hide.
Sorry, my husband's off today, so I can't go anywhere. I think we'll be divorcing soon. I'm okay during the week. Actually, maybe tomorrow. I'll text you soon.
I knew what was happening. It was an affair. I felt sick listening to Riko talking so sweetly. I didn't feel like eating, but I knew I had to hide it and catch her cheating. I thought I'd follow her tomorrow to see where she went. After I left the house pretending to go to work, I waited for Riko to leave. Then I stalked her. Who is she cheating on me with? Maybe someone I know? I'm gonna lose my shit. Riko was walking while texting on her phone. She didn't know that I was following her. She's on the train now. Where's she gonna go? Riko got off and was heading to meet up. I followed her carefully. This must be where they're meeting up. It's time to find out. A man walked up to her. What? That guy? He was the boss that was rude at the department store. Oh, I didn't understand. He had a high school daughter. That must mean he's pretty old. But still, why him? There are other men. I couldn't believe she picked an old man. Where are they gonna go? I don't know if I can handle it. How could she do this? It's so gross. I really can't go further. They disappeared into the hotel alley. I was too furious to continue following. These photos should be more than enough. I took myself to a PI office. I had them check the boss's house. A few days later, I was heading to his house. I spoke to his wife to confirm the affair. I'm so sorry to bother you. I think my wife may be cheating on me with your husband.
My husband? Cheating?
Yeah.
You've got to be kidding me. How could he?
She told me that your husband was someone she dealt with at work.
Oh, we met at the department store.
Yeah, that was us.
My husband was being really awkward that day. I thought it was because she was some sort of client. I guess they were already cheating.
That's just an assumption, but I don't think they were cheating yet. It was after that she began acting strange. They were meeting during the week. Sometimes on the weekend, too.
I see. It was right around then when he started saying that he has to work on the weekends. It started becoming normal that he would come home late.
I knew it. I can't forgive him. Did your husband have work last weekend?
Yeah? Why?
Yeah, they definitely went out on a date.
I was in the hospital because I have acute stomach flu. My husband said he had to go to his business meeting. He almost never went on business trips. So all the while he was... I'm gonna kill him! How could he mess with my feelings like that?
Then it all came pouring out. We started piecing things together.
What do you plan to do?
I'll just have to take retribution. We can't just roll over.
That's a great idea. Let's really get back at them.
We formed an alliance to take revenge on them. I waited for Riko to come home to talk to her. 11 p.m. Riko opened the door, and she was surprised because she thought I wouldn't be home.
I'm home.
I have something to talk about. Can you sit down?
What? I want to go to bed.
You look exhausted.
What's going on?
Do you think I don't know why you're coming home late every day?
So what? You're late every day too.
Yes, because I want to buy a house. What about that?
I don't care. It's weird that you come home late every day.
If you want to say something, say it!
Are you sure you didn't find some woman to cheat with using a house as an excuse?
Don't mess with me! My workplace won't give me pay raises, so I was working a part-time job to get more money!
The hell do I care? Why am I still with you?
So you cheated. What a terrible idea!
Don't even say that. You're the cheater. Don't act like I do the same thing as you.
How could you lie like that? I'm actually at a loss for words.
What are you talking about?
Then what is this? It's proof. And an old man at work to boot. I'm so grossed out that I might puke.
You hired a PI? What a miserable little man.
Oh, nice. Now you're turning it on me.
Whatever, let's divorce. I can't do this.
Okay. I'm gonna ask for all the severance, though.
I'm not paying for that, and I don't have any money.
You can say that now, but you can say whatever you want. Here's a paper. Sign it.
Wow, you're so ready.
Of course I am! I can't stand breathing the same air as you.
I'm leaving.
Sign before you leave, bitch! I don't want to see you again. Only talk to me through my lawyer!
You think I'm scared because you said lawyer?
I'm only giving you a warning. But whatever. I'll see you in court.
Screw you! How can you steal money from someone who doesn't have money? This is below me. Goodbye.
Riko stormed off after signing the papers. Apparently, the other side spoke too, but the wife insisted that the husband sign the papers. It makes sense. I knew I had to take revenge after all the events took place. However, something happened that would stop me. Nana, the daughter, walked into the office and spoke to the branch manager because she was too angry.
My father is this company's manager. He did something unforgivable. He cheated on my mother with someone from Line Incorporated. Is that something that should be accepted? I cannot forgive him. I want him to be punished.
Then she stormed off. I was truly surprised by her actions. And of course, the branch manager was even more surprised. Not only surprised, but also furious. Before I was going to carry out my revenge, Nana dropped a bomb. No one could have predicted it. Nana was not satisfied yet. She stormed in Riko's company.
Is Riko here? Can I help you? Hey, this person is having an affair with someone from Scato Inc. How could you? You brought suffering and pain all the while you go about your day like nothing happened. Should this continue? What are you talking about? Stop spreading rumors. Who are you? I'm his daughter. I have photo proof. My mother was sick while you two were off playing screwy on some vacation trip. She's sick and feverish, and what were you two doing in a love hotel? I will never forgive you.
There was a sound of applause in the office. Everyone was moved by her wanting to protect her mother. The boss was let go from his work. Riko apparently retired from her workplace on her own will. How pitiful can you be? Being defeated by an 18-year-old girl? The wife and I asked for a large amount of compensation for pain and suffering. 1 year later, I found someone and was able to remarry. I was heading to MoniRobo land with her. They were selling limited edition love bears and she wanted them badly. I thought it was a good anniversary gift. It was all around a good time, but then... Be careful! Two of the mascots ran headfirst into each other. I was surprised after their masks fell off. Boss? Or ex-boss? The other person also took off the head of the costume.
What are you doing? I told you to be careful.
Riko?
Ah!
Why are you here? You two are working part-time here?
That's hilarious. We got married.
What? You're only 19, and with this old man to boot?
Are you being serious? You can't say anything. You had an affair with someone 20 years younger.
You're pregnant? With this kid?
Of course. I couldn't have a baby. Maybe it's because you were too busy fooling around. Anyway, enjoy each other.
A park employee came running in. What are you doing? Why did you take off your masks? You're fired! Wait, we just ran into each other.
Please, you can't fire us!
It was truly a pity watching the two beg for their job. Anyway, my wife and I were able to have a great time and we felt great. Apparently the two broke up. Neither of them could find a job, so I'm not sure what they're doing. They lost their job and their friends. Meanwhile, I married Nana and had a son. I live with Nana's mother. I understand why Nana said she wanted to protect her mother. I respect Nana as a woman. I know that I need to protect her for my whole life. My name is Katsumi Suinaga. I'm a regular worker at a regular job. I'd like to tell you about my best friend. I have a best friend that is the same age. His name is Yasuo Funaki. He's destined to take over his father's business. We've known each other for over 10 years. We were a team for badminton in high school. We also went to the same college. After college, I started working at a regular job as a salesman. Yasuo was working at his father's company. We had completely different stories, but there were no problems with our friendship. However, we both hadn't spoke to each other in a while because we were both busy. Then, one day, I received a message from him. Yo, it's been a bit. How you been? Oh, dang, it has been a hot minute. I'm good, how are you? Yeah, just the usual. Actually, I'm gonna get married. What? Sorry, I was just surprised. I was frozen in place from how shocked I was. You don't have to be that surprised, LOL. We're only in our 20s. I mean, we're close to our 30s though. It's not too soon. I guess you do have a company to take over. That makes sense. So, who's a lucky lady? I think I haven't introduced you to. It's a lady of some company we used to do business with. Oh, is this some kind of political marriage? LOL, relax on the drama, my guy. It's not like that. I mean, it does affect my work, but I definitely love her. Okay, well then I'm happy for you. Which reminds me, I have a favor to ask from you. What's up? Can you give a speech at the wedding as the best friend? You want me to be the best man? Shouldn't you pick someone who's more established? LOL, who else would I choose? I would be more than honored. Thanks! I'll be waiting for a moving speech! I was in a good mood after he asked me for this favor. About half a year later, Yasuo's marriage was underway. It was a sight to behold. All the higher-ups were lined up in this massive hallway. Of course, his parents were also there. There were also familiar faces from university. Everyone was so happy with Yasuo's marriage. Is that his wife? Man, she's gorgeous! I never met his wife-to-be, and he was right. She was the lady of a company's CEO. Both of the households were established and wealthy. The marriage would bring nothing but wealth to all parties involved. But they seemed happy to be with each other, so it seems like it wasn't a political marriage. That made me even happier for them. As the ceremony was coming to an end,
We'd like to invite the best man to come give a speech to wrap things up.
I walked up to give my speech, holding by my adrenaline. I looked at Yasuo and walked up to the stand. Hello! First off, congratulations to the two of you. I'm so happy that my best friend was able to find such a beautiful person to marry. I started off with all the cliché stuff first. I have two things in these past 6 months that surprised me. One, of course, that my best friend was married. The second was that my best friend was the world's biggest piece of shit. The crowd started murmuring. Even Yasuo was mumbling something in the distance. But I didn't make a mistake. I wasn't joking. I came here today to do this. This started from a year ago, right before Yasuo mentioned marrying. I was just having a beer after work when I received a call from Kanikawa, an old high school friend. Yo, it's been so long! Do you remember me? Of course I do. How you been, man? Yeah, I'm just a regular old employee. Me too. So, what's up? Oh, so we have a reunion with the OG badminton players. Oh, that sounds fun. I'll swing by if I can. Okay. Did you ask Yasuo? Actually, something happened. Is Yasuo dating your sister? Emika? I don't think so. Really? I saw them together. So you saw my best friend with my younger sister? Yeah, they seem to be hitting it off. Maybe I saw it wrong? Or it wasn't your sister? I don't know. I'll ask her though. I have a younger sister. Her name is Emika. And when I received the call, she was a sophomore in college. I took good care of her, especially since my parents were gone with work. Both our parents passed away in an accident, so we've been supporting each other since. I am my sister's brother and father. Of course, Emika has met Yasuo too. It was when we were in high school and she was in elementary school, so it would be strange if it developed into a romantic relationship. But they're old enough to decide what they want. The strange thing was that I hadn't heard about it from either of them. I decided to contact Emika and have dinner, since it had been a while. I asked her, as a matter of fact, like as we ate. Hey, so, have you found a boyfriend yet? She denied it while acting strange. I knew she wouldn't really want to talk to me about it, considering the person she could be dating was my best friend. I left it alone that night, but then I felt terrible for not asking about it further. I got a call from the hospital. Apparently, my sister was in an accident and was having emergency surgery. I ran to the hospital in a hurry. By the time I was there, the surgery was underway. I spent the longest night waiting. The surgery was successful, but it lasted so long. We were simply waiting for her recovery, but I felt so bad seeing her wrapped up in all of the cast and bandages. They were also concerned that she would be left with permanent scars. A few days after the surgery, she woke up. They let her recover for another week. When I decided to ask what happened,
My name is Emika Surinaga. I'm a 20-year-old student. My brother is the only person in my family. I was interning in a certain company when I stumbled into someone. I ran into my brother's best friend. I was only in elementary school, so it had been a while. We grabbed some drinks and talked about our future and jobs. We started dating after we caught feelings. We talked about it and decided to keep it a secret from my brother since it would be a little awkward. After we started dating, the sweet and kind side of him started disappearing. He added a GPS to my phone and I had to keep it on at all times. Basically, he had to know where I was at all times. If there was some kind of mishap, he would chew me out for hours. It would take even longer before he got over it. He didn't think about my schedule at all and had no chance to argue back. I was so tired of this life that I began to get sick. I couldn't tell my brother anything, but I believed he still loved me. That ended when I went to his house when I forgot something. I could see that his door was open and a woman walked out. I froze out of shock. I saw them giving a very deep goodbye kiss before she left. I went straight to his house afterwards and asked him about it. He was acting like nothing happened. He slapped me and chased me out of his house. And that's how I was dumped. I tried so hard and I was thrown away like a piece of lint. I was in such shock that I began to float down the road. I didn't notice that a red light was there and I tried to cross the road when...
that's what she told me. I felt like I was betrayed as well. As this all unfolded, I received a message about his marriage. I gave the okay to him while holding back my anger. Yasuo kept talking to me like nothing was wrong. He probably assumed my sister wouldn't say anything. He would never ask about a wedding speech if he didn't think so. It was so difficult to contain myself around him. But this was all so I could cause the greatest amount of damage to him. And that's how I ended up here, giving a speech to everyone. I learned that my best friend is the biggest piece of shit. I didn't care what people thought. I just kept talking. He treated my sister like an object. Then, he cheated on her with that girl there. Then the hall staff tried to stop me. I don't know who gave the order, but there was no way I was stopping. I kept going, but then...
He's telling the truth. I was truly a victim of DV from him.
Emika? Apparently Emika had snuck into the wedding hall as well. I didn't predict this. Emika began to reveal everything about him. She even began showing photos from her phone. The hall staff couldn't stop this anymore. Emika hadn't made a full recovery yet, so it was impossible for anyone to do anything to her. Not only that, her appearance made her story even more credible.
That man is insane. I don't know what he'll do to you if you get married to him.
She called out to the bride to be careful. It was too crazy for it to be a wedding anymore. The hall staff were all panicked, and the bride was frozen cold out of disgust. Apparently, she didn't know.
What the hell, Yasuo?
No! That insane bitch is making things up!
Really? So the photos and messages are fake too? Or are you gonna work to destroy her phone too? You wanna cause more pain?
Yasuo was at a loss, watching the bride losing her mind. All of the guests showed up too. It was a pity I couldn't stay and watch everything till the end. The security guards took us out and we had to leave. But you would be crazy to think I regret it all. Emika, how are you? You need to calm down and rest. I really didn't expect you to show up to the wedding hall.
I mean, I was the biggest victim. I had to do what was right.
That's true, but...
Sorry I didn't talk to you sooner. Thank you for always trying to protect me. You looked really good today.
Of course! We're family!
I don't have anything left after dating that man. I felt like I just had to do anything that man asked of me. Now that I think back, maybe I was just brainwashed. If I fight back, he hits me. If I try to talk about it, maybe something worse would happen.
I held Emika tightly as she began to cry. I will never forgive him for this. I am also disappointed in myself for not helping my sister sooner. From here on out, I'm gonna talk about what I heard happened afterwards. The bride-to-be called off the wedding. That made complete sense. She should be afraid. Because he caused such a mess, the father decided to never deal with his son again. With the amount of higher-ups there at the wedding, it made sense. Apparently, Yasuo had already had this sort of thing happen before. The father had to take care of it for him. This was probably the last straw. However, that is of no value to us. I told Yasuo's father that I plan on suing Yasuo. The medical fees, the pain and suffering fees. I am so terribly sorry for causing harm to your precious sister. Sir, with all due respect, if he's a repeat offender, he should have been punished or fired. Why didn't you? Maybe the other woman and my daughter wouldn't have been hurt by him. You are completely right. I just believed that he would change his ways. However, after this series of events, I know that I need to change this. All of the pain and suffering, the counseling fees, the living fees, let me pay. I understand that normally we should have a lawyer and conduct a police investigation. I was really hoping that you would accept this as an apology. You're gonna cover for him again? I couldn't hold back anymore. I started raising my voice when Yasuo's father said something I'll never forget. No, sir. This is all the money that Yasuo currently has. It is the money that has been withdrawn from his salary, and the money that I have paid him for living. I will cover for his pain and suffering on the bright side, but he will eventually pay it back. What are you gonna do with Yasuo? He will be fired, and I will have him work at a certain company. It's a specialized cleaning job to clean up folks who have passed away in their home. It will take a severe toll on his mental health, but I will be sure to take away his smartphone, and he will live under my surveillance. I will be using 90% of his pay there to repay my money. If he is arrested, he won't be able to start paying it off sooner. More than anything, I think he'll be better served working hard labor than being stuck in jail. Emika and I were shocked with his plan. It definitely sounded like his father's plan was significantly worse than being arrested. But Emika wanted him to be judged lawfully. She was very confused. Do you want him to be taken into court?
Yes, sir. The story has already propagated into mass media. If I accept the settlement now, all of Yasuo's in the world will think that they're doing is acceptable as long as they can pay it all off. I can't accept that.
Yasuo's father fell into a dead silence after seeing Emika in tears. He could do all of what he said after Yasuo was arrested, and the father is still paying for settlement with the bride. Long story short, he doesn't want his son to be a criminal. Sir, this pay is more than enough money for us, but we want him to be arrested, not to receive money. So, the next time we meet, it will be through our lawyer or in court. Understood. Miss Emika, I apologize for offending you so much. Next time, I will be ready to treat the situation correctly.
Yes, please.
After our lawyers spoke to each other, we officially sued Yasuo for domestic violence. Emika received an official mental diagnosis of PTSD due to DV. He was charged with assault, blackmail, and battery. Because it was so intentional, he was sentenced to 3 years in jail. The accident was also accepted as a result of his DV. He was forced to pay for cost of living, medical bills, and college fees. A compensation of $250K was sentenced on top of that. It's still $50K less, but we are much happier with the fact that Yasuo was sentenced to jail. Over the course of 3 years, she completed her rehab and was re-enrolled into college. She took an extra year, but she graduated. She intends to help those women who are the victims of DV like her. She is publishing her own essay as well. Man, it's already been 3 years, huh? Emika isn't talking about it, but Yasuo is about to be released. No matter what happens, she will always be heard. just thinking about it makes me furious. After he was released, his father kept his word and continued life under 24-hour surveillance. 3 years ago, I told his father that I wanted him to follow his plan after Yasuo was released. I even have a contract with that offer. About half a year after he was released, I received a call from his father. "Mr. Katsumi, it has been a while. It's Yasuo's father." "Yes, it has." "I have kept my word as promised. He is working in a special cleanup unit. He is working every day without trying to flee. He does seem to be vomiting every time he works, so they are saying it might take some time before he's of any use at all." I see. I'm actually surprised he hasn't tried to run away. "I have all his money and phone, so it would be pretty amazing if he got away from all of our security. He knows he can't run. He also doesn't have anything to end his life, so..." Just out of curiosity, how long will it take for him to repay everything? 200K for the wedding, 100K for the settlement, 80K for all the other fees, and we're looking at 380K total. Oh, he takes about 2,500 a month, and he's repaying 2,200 a month, so about 172 months, or 14 to 15 years. Knowing he wouldn't be released until that long, I felt relieved. Of course, I don't think 15 years is enough for the crimes he's committed to all the women over the years. But after 15 years, he will be over 40 and a convict. He won't have savings, and he can't find another job. Special cleanup is an important job that is necessary. If he does that for 15 years, maybe he'll be a decent human. After everything is said and done, I hope he has a chance to look back on what he's done. He also promised to stay in touch. I will be able to see what happens to Yasuo. After 10 years, Emika was able to find someone who accepted her past and married. She began convincing me to get married. I would like to get married if I found someone, but I'm just glad to see Emika happy.
My name is Ayaka Okuda. I'm 21 years old and in my 4th year of university. This time, I'd like to talk about the time I experienced a horrible interview from an immoral interviewer. I'm a normal university student. My grades are so-so, and I don't stand out that much. Up until now, my uni life had mainly been revolving around parties, so I can't say I had been working hard. If I speak honestly, I was living a pretty common campus life. However, in my 3rd year, the time finally came for me to start job hunting, just like my classmates. Just as I had heard in rumors, the job hunting was tough. I could feel that I was tired out physically and mentally. I regretted playing around so much and reflected that I should have prepared in advance. The toughest part was the interviews. There are a lot of types of interviewers, and what type you would be faced with was a matter of luck. A relatively nicer example of an interviewer would be...
"Okay, so introduce yourself."
The type that looks pretty tired, and you're not sure whether he's actually listening or not. Or...
"Seriously? No way!"
the overly friendly type who acts like your best buddies.
"The baseball season this year looks pretty good. Who are you watching out for?"
The one that keeps going on and on about the hobby you have in common. You know you're unlucky when you get...
I can't hear you! Speak clearly! You're useless!
The type that likes to be intimidating and nitpick. When this type comes around, you're bound to get a lot of damage, mentally. Personally, I don't want to have to work in a company that employs an interviewer like that. With all the interviews and the horrible experiences, the best thing to keep close by is a good friend. For me, that was Mina, who's in the same year as me. We would complain and gossip, let out our frustrations, and encourage each other for the next interview. I always feel much better after talking to you. If only we could work together one day. I hope so too. But that all depends on our effort and our luck. Even if one of us gets hired first, we've got to promise not to hold a grudge. Of course, no matter what, we'll always be friends. Mina and I had mostly applied for different companies, but there was just one company that we had both applied for. This company had split its interviews over a few days. Mina would have hers on the first, and my interview would be on the second day. Tell me how it went when you come back. Sure! A few days later, I messaged Mina around the time I thought her interview would be over, but something was off about her. How was your interview? Okay? Ayaka, I don't know if I can do it anymore. I've lost all my self-confidence. Huh? What happened? You were so positive about your interviews yesterday. I went to have my interview today. I know. That's why I'm messaging you. It was terrible. Terrible? I'm too scared to go to any other interview. What? What do you mean? I can't concentrate. What do I do? Okay, just breathe. You shouldn't be alone right now, so I'm heading over. Is that okay? Yeah, I'm waiting. Something was very wrong. Mina was usually so cheerful and positive. I couldn't imagine what could have depressed her this way. I wonder what kind of interviewer it was. I rushed over to Mina's place. As soon as she saw me, she started crying. It was on a level I had never seen before. Ayaka! Mina, what happened? After she had cried for a while, I rubbed her back until she was ready to speak. When she had finally calmed down, she began to speak about what had happened at the interview. It seems that she had experienced quite an intimidating interview today. It's not that uncommon. I've experienced them before. Of course, Mina has too. But seeing Mina so scared and upset was a first for me, and I had my interview coming up the next day. If Mina's like this after her interview, then there's no way I can handle it. Then, I remembered that one of our guy friends, Kimura, had had an interview with the same company. I quickly messaged him. Hey, I just want to ask something. Do you have time?
Yeah, sure.
You had an interview at the same company as Mina today, right?
Yeah. You have an interview there tomorrow, right?
Yep. I have a question about that. I heard that it was pretty horrible. Can you tell me how your interview went?
Horrible? Really?
Huh? Yeah, Mina's pretty upset about it.
She had a horrible interview?
Yeah, I'm worried about mine, so I thought I should ask you.
It was pretty normal to me. There were 3 other guys at the same time as me, and they were pretty normal too.
I wonder if you had a different interviewer.
It's the same room, so I don't think so. More importantly, is she okay?
She's really troubled by it. She says she's lost the confidence to go to another interview.
Doesn't seem like she's exaggerating. I have another friend who had an interview there. Let me ask them.
Thanks, you're a great help. Kimura said that there was nothing odd about his interview. I was pretty confused by the contrast. It didn't seem like Mina was lying, but it didn't seem like Kimura was lying either. It became the day of my interview, and I was very nervous. However, the mystery would soon be solved. The next day, I made my way to the interview. There were a total of 4 people waiting to be interviewed. 1 more woman and 2 men. The interviewers were an important-looking middle-aged man, seated in the middle, and 2 company workers on either side of him. The man in the middle introduced himself as Aizawa and told us to introduce ourselves. Each of us spoke our names and our universities. When the 2 men had finished their introductions, next up was the woman seated next to me, called Hino. I'm from ABC University. I'm majoring in finance. Thank you for this chance. Just like the 2 men, I thought her introduction was very normal, but as soon as she was finished, the interviewer called Aizawa scoffed. What's up with that reaction? He doesn't seem nice at all. I had been listening to Hino's introduction too, and there didn't seem to be anything weird or remarkably bad. If anything, she spoke more clearly and confidently than the 2 guys before her. Hino herself seemed to be put off by Aizawa's reaction. By the way, he had the same kind of reaction after I had finished my introduction too. Since Hino finished talking, I had had a bad feeling, and it seems that I wasn't wrong. We were asked our reasons for applying, and when Hino's turn came, she began to speak, but I'm aiming for the planning department. Even in university, I have...
That's enough. I've heard that one plenty of times.
Aizawa had cut across Hino's words.
In the end, you're just gonna end up getting married or pregnant and leave anyway. In other words, you're just applying in order to find a husband.
And spouted some unbelievably misogynistic prejudices. Hino lost her composure for just 1 second, but replied strongly. No, that's not true. I am seriously...
Enough!
He didn't even look her in the eye as he fiddled with his pen, smiling all the while.
Then, do you have a boyfriend at the moment?
He hadn't listened to her properly, but suddenly started asking private questions. If he's doing it on purpose, then I don't see his point. No, I don't. Even while coming close to tears, Hino tried her best to respond.
Are you sure? You look like the type that likes to play around. Or are you not interested in sticking to one guy?
His attitude was so bad. I could only think that he had something personal against Hino. Hino ended up looking down and away from Aizawa. I can't blame her. I'd like to make it clear that he didn't act this way with the two guys. He actually seemed frank and easy to speak to. What I'm trying to say is that he only acts like this with women. I don't know why. Maybe he doesn't want to hire any women. But no matter what the reason, this is way too unreasonable. My anger finally hit the limit. After Hino, it was my turn.
So the next person is from MoniRobo University? You got the guts to apply to our company from a university like that?
He was supposed to be asking my reason for applying, but instead started insulting my education. But I had no intention of giving in to him. It wasn't just for Hino. It was for Mina and all the other girls who had been disrespected by this interviewer. Yes, I passed preliminary checks and I received a notification that I was very welcome to have an interview. What's your problem? I wouldn't want to work in a company with a guy like this anyway. I don't want to pass the interview, so I can argue back all I like. The room tensed up thanks to my attitude, but there was no turning back. In the first place, the two other interviewers, who haven't tried to stop the interview, and the two male interviewees are guilty of the same thing. I assured myself that I was the only one who could say the right thing and held my head high.
Your attitude tells us a lot about the way you've been brought up. Our time is wasted having to interview people like you.
In response to my approach, Aizawa also spoke with venom in his words. But unfortunately, I wouldn't be budged. A waste of time? You're being paid while you're in this room, right? I'm so jealous that you can get paid for sitting around like that. I definitely want to get a job here. The people around us began to show their panic at how the situation had changed. Once he heard my words, Aizawa finally spoke his true feelings.
This is why I hate women. As soon as you say something a little harsh, they start crying or lose their temper.
Apparently, he doesn't know that that's called discrimination. You can tell how bad the company is just by looking at the interviewer. What you're doing is being misogynistic and attacking our personalities. Why are you asking these kinds of questions?
This is to see if you're suitable for the job. Once you're an adult, there are plenty of times you'll be told terrible things.
Then why didn't you ask the other two interviewees? Why was it just directed towards me and this lady? Aizawa finally stopped speaking when he heard my argument. There's nothing he can say to justify what he's done. Then, he took out my CV, raised it up, and ripped it into pieces before throwing it away, right in front of me.
Enough! We don't have the time to deal with people like you. That's it for today. The other 3 candidates will have their interviews rescheduled for another day. You are never to come through our doors ever again!
I wouldn't work here, even if you begged me. You should be ashamed of yourselves for making this man an interviewer and for not stopping him. As for you two, your nothing to do with me attitude will only make things worse for you. I don't recommend working here. I said just that and left the room. I finished the interview feeling much better once I had said everything I needed to. On my way home, I was stopped by Hino. I thought she was going to complain that I had ruined her interview, but instead, she thanked me very politely. Thank you so much for helping me today. Thanks to you, I feel much better. I'm planning to reject the next interview here, so let's do our best at an interview elsewhere. We parted ways with a smile. I'm glad that even though I couldn't do anything for Mina, it was worth speaking my mind for Hino. Hey, Mina! How are you? Have you had another interview? No. You encouraged me a lot, so I think I can do it. Anyway, you had your interview today, right? How was it? It was horrible. That Aizawa guy is a piece of crap. It seems he's extremely sexist. He was only horrible to the women. Now that you say it, he was really normal towards the boys. Right? So I spoke my mind. No way! What did you say? I don't want to work in a company that hires a guy like that. I got revenge by telling them everything I thought. I'm so jealous. If only I could have done that. I don't recommend it. The room went silent and my stomach hurt. That kind of situation is way too abnormal, so don't worry about it. Yeah, thank you, Ayaka. I'm so glad you're my friend.
Me too. After that, I went to have interviews at several other companies. None of them were as bad as that Aizawa. He was way too irregular. It was surprising that there weren't any other women who had publicly criticized him and his company. Well, I didn't want to have anything to do with them, and had my next interview, so it's not like I was able to do anything either. At the very least, so that my underclassmen wouldn't have the same problem, I spread the information that Aizawa and that company were guilty of holding discriminatory interviews. And it was a miracle, but I finally found a job with a major company after all the job hunting. I was able to escape the war called job hunting, and reflecting on my past behavior, decided to work harder on my skills and qualifications. If I only play around, it's sure to bite me on the ass like these interviews did. After I started work in April, my life as a working adult finally began. When walking around the company, I was called out to by a man who was in his 50s and looked like he was in a much higher posting.
Congratulations for getting the job! I was waiting for you.
Thank you very much. I still have a lot to learn, but I hope I can do well here. The truth is, I've been his acquaintance from quite a while back. I guess you could call it a special relationship, but I'm keeping that a secret within the company. A few years later, I've gotten used to the work, and since last year, I've been working in human relations. In April, there were a few changes made, and a new section chief was hired. That new section chief was the person I had least expected.
My name is Aizawa. I'll be working with you from today as your section chief.
It was the immoral and sexist Aizawa. I had been hired by a parent company to Aizawa's company. It wasn't strange that we would eventually meet. I don't know if it was because he remembered me, but he was already giving me grief.
I didn't think a woman like you would be working in this company. What connections did you use to get in?
I've grown up a bit, so of course I avoided answering back with attitude. I was very fortunate to get this job. We're colleagues now, so let's be professional and forget about the past. I was able to ignore and smile away his comments, but he must have really hated me, because he began to use me for chores and jobs he didn't want to do. Well, he is my manager, so there's no helping it. If it were just me, I would have stayed quiet. However, he was demanding of all the other workers too. His attitude towards female employees was especially hard to ignore. Ever since he had arrived, everyone had clearly lost their motivation, and some female employees had even resigned. The atmosphere within the section was tense. Aizawa's obnoxiousness was much worse than the average horrible boss. He really shined when it was time for the interview season. Like every year, there were many applicants arriving to have their interview. The nightmare had come back to haunt me. As usual, Aizawa was taking a discriminatory attitude towards the female applicants. But of course, I wasn't going to let it slide. Mr. Aizawa, please stop making those kinds of comments. What's the point? Even if I warned him quietly.
Shut up! Keep quiet and make notes. If you can't do that, then get out!
Even though it was during an interview, he had no problem shouting at me. I couldn't endure it any longer. I decided to make my move, as payback for that time as well. Just as Aizawa had asked, I left the room, and I made one phone call while I was out. Hello, I'd like some advice. Would you have any time to talk this evening? He must have felt lucky, being able to get a job in the parent company. But it was his final luck. He would soon realize it. The next day, there were more applicants to interview. The interviewers were the same as yesterday, Aizawa and I. The first group of applicants entered the room. This time, it was 3 men and 1 woman, 4 people in total.
Very good! I have high expectations of you. Thank you very much.
He hadn't changed one bit. He was frank towards the male applicants.
So, do you have a boyfriend? Hurry up and answer me.
And was like this towards the female applicants. Even the male applicants began to look at one another, shocked. This time, the female applicant's response was different to the usual and was more in line with how I had reacted. Before I answer, I'd like to know the reason for the question. I believe it has nothing to do with the work. Aizawa didn't back down either and continued his questions.
Just answer me. Do you have a reason not to tell me? What, do you have several boyfriends or something?
Aizawa was smirking, but the university student didn't look afraid at all. I don't have the obligation to answer. Also, do you know that asking something like that counts as sexual harassment?
Aizawa began to get irritated, perhaps because she didn't give him the reaction he expected.
How dare you take that kind of attitude with me? Damn it, this is why I hate women!
Then, just like he had done with mine, he took her CV and ripped it up into little pieces.
Get out! Someone like you doesn't belong here!
Aizawa pointed at the door, clearly proud of himself. Then, the door of the interview room opened.
Pardon me.
The man that appeared from behind the door was the man that had called out to me when I first got the job. The man who I have a secret relationship with. As soon as he saw the man's face, Aizawa went pale. I couldn't blame him, because the man was Mr. Kaneo, the managing director. He's also my uncle from my dad's side. This is why I kept our relationship secret from my colleagues. I didn't get the job through my connections, by the way. I hid the fact that we were related when I went for my interview, and when I told him the results of my interview, he said, "You really got the job! Hats off to you!" On the other hand, it's my motto to use my connections when I really should use them, and I had called my uncle yesterday and gotten advice from him about Aizawa. My uncle had come to see for himself and called out to the female applicant.
Well done. You could go home now.
Understood. I'll be leaving first. After being told by my uncle, the woman left the room. Aizawa looked confused. He clearly didn't understand the situation. The truth is, that woman was a fake, set up by my uncle. After hearing about what happened, my uncle decided to send in a spy in order to get a better idea of what was going on in the interview room. She was wearing a microphone, so my uncle could hear exactly what was being said in the interview. It meant that Aizawa's sexist questions were all heard by my uncle. When he had explained that to him, Aizawa began to make excuses to my uncle.
There's been a misunderstanding. I just wanted to be sure that they were able to endure that kind of questioning.
The exact same excuse he made that time too. But even the applicant still seated in the room could tell that there was no way that excuse would be accepted. I'm very sorry. We will be rescheduling interviews for you all another day, so please take your leave. After having the applicants leave the room, we began to make our move on Aizawa.
That kind of excuse won't work, Aizawa. What you said was harassment. I wouldn't be surprised if you were taken to court. No way! I always use this method, and I've never been told something like that! In your previous company, you were in a much higher position, so everyone must have been too scared of you to say anything. The HR changes made this year wasn't your lucky chance. It was to make sure that there were people in higher positions than you!
Once he heard the true reason for his transfer to the parent company, Aizawa lost all the color in his face. Of course, there was more to his punishment.
What's more, there have been too many complaints about you within the company. Unfortunately, you won't be here for very much longer.
He was fired by the managing director himself. Aizawa lost the strength to stand and fell to his knees. He deserves it. It's so refreshing. I feel like making a video and sending it to Mina. After that, we watched Aizawa leave the building. He got what he deserved. With this, all the people who had suffered under Aizawa in his previous company have been avenged. By the way, there had been a few notifications from people who said that they were planning to sue Aizawa for his verbal abuse. It was unfortunate that we couldn't see how that would turn out for him.